It's been clarified beyond an ounce of doubt that the Terminator franchise's second biggest enemy after Skynet is the convoluted timeline itself. I mean, there have been just so many of them, and Sarah Connor, the feisty and fiery fighter and protagonist, has to suffer on account of the timelines, seeing several fates, ranging from leukemia deaths to living in distant futures, and staying alive and striving to stop an evil version of John Connor. However, the 2024 Terminator number 10 from Declan Shalvey, Luke Sparrow, Colin Craker, and Jeff Eckleberry gave us a fate where she's dead, but her death itself comes with a huge twist. Something that pretty much changes the course of John Connor's life and the fate of his world. Oh, and it's all been confirmed to be canon. And in this video, I'm gonna explore Terminator number 10 in brief, with focus on how the events of the story, including Sarah's death, molded things for John and the Resistance. But before I begin, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Those 2 small clicks from you will help us tremendously in bringing you more of these marvelous videos. And now, let's begin. So the comic starts in the middle of a Resistance Forces mission against Skynet with Major Harper Duggan, leading his many men and women, including this young unknown soldier. The year is 2001, and the world has gone to shit, but the humans haven't lost their will to survive and fight for freedom. Major Harper had intel of a massive Skynet arms and ammunition consignment arriving, and if things went the evil AI's way, whatever was left would get doomed. The only way to stop that from happening was through blowing up a bridge and destroying the package. But what they ultimately face is this huge hunter-killer tank, almost 10 stories tall. This was new. The previous HKTs they faced were like 10 feet tall, nothing compared to this mechanical monstrosity. Of course, most of the soldiers perished, until only Major Harper, Sparks, and this young unnamed soldier were alive. They improvise and hatch another plan, and it was during this window that Major Harper and the kid got to talking. The kid asked Major Harper, "Why are we even staying when we failed the mission?" Well, he had a legit query. When the entire team was dead or incapacitated, what on earth would 3 men be able to do? To this, the Major responds that although one of the tanks got through, more were incoming, and leaving their post would mean that these monster tanks would wreak havoc, more havoc, and a hell of a lot of it. And although staying back to wait for the hunter-killer tanks meant the possibility of death, they had to do what they had to do. Major Harper then asked the kid why he signed up to become a Resistance soldier. Before the kid could answer, Harper shows him the photo of his wife, who was alive and stashed somewhere safe. But Harper always feared for her safety. He left her 3 years ago to look after and lead grunts like this young man here, who asks Harper if there's more pictures. And the Major shows him photos of his family. Memory box, he called it. Harper adds that although they're all dead, he likes to remember that before Judgment Day, he was surrounded by life. And there was happiness in the world, not like the present day when he's surrounded by death and destruction. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Major Harper asks if the young man had any such photos, any such memory boxes. But the kid hesitates and only reveals that it was a picture of a woman, someone who died while protecting him. To this, Harper says, "You keep that close, kid, but remember the photo ain't her. Someday you might need to let that go, but she will always be with you." Next thing we know, the second hunter-killer tank arrives and obliterates Major Harper and Sparks, so much so that even their bodies weren't found in the aftermath. On the other hand, the young soldier followed the orders previously given to him by Major Marsh and managed to avenge his fallen team. In the end, other Resistance fighters arrived to take stock of the situation and rescue the survivors. We now see the kid thinking to himself how Major Harper Duggan taught him how to be a soldier, and how he taught him to keep his loved ones safe, locked in memory, always around, always accessible. In his own words, Major Duggan helped make me into the man I would one day become. Which is when we see a picture of Sarah Connor in the young soldier's hand, revealing that he was, in fact, John Connor, and this was the same picture that John had given to Kyle Reese, which made him fall in love with Sarah and travel through time to protect her. Clearly, to John Connor, Major Duggan was what Lord Commander Mormont was to Jon Snow. Both the Johns lost their mums early in their lives, and although Ned Stark took care of John, it was really Mormont who turned him into a man, a soldier, a warrior. Likewise, Major Duggan made John Connor the man he would become. He was the father figure that Connor never really had, and Skynet knew it. After Connor's biological mother, Skynet targeted Connor's father figure in order to ensure that John Connor never became a leader. As for Major Harper, it becomes all but clear that Skynet had been targeting his family members by traveling across time and space to ensure Duggan never became John's mentor. Without this father figure, John would never have become such a threat to Skynet. It also becomes clear from Terminator number 10 that Sarah Connor died while protecting John, and later on, John becomes strong and mature enough to let go of a picture he had of his mother. He gives it to Kyle Reese and keeps Sarah locked away safely in his memory box. Even though Sarah was gone, John kept her around. So these comics actually pretended to be an anthology, but as you can see, they tell a pretty different picture. To say the least, Terminator number 10 serves as a story about how John was shaped, about how events and people in his life became the helping hands and walking sticks that a young, broken boy needed, until he was strong enough to take charge. That's the story of John Connor and his mother Sarah Connor, but the real hero here is Major Harper Duggan. Wouldn't you agree? Let me know what you think in the comments.